Hello everyone, I am Angelo Miparano and I am going to discuss the Grice 4 conversational maxims. So, let's start. When you write or talk, you generally do so with the purpose of conveying information. And the better you are at conveying information, the more likely people are to understand and accept what you have to say. However, despite the importance of being able to communicate effectively, and despite the frequency in which we attempt to do so, we often make mistakes when we try to convey information to others. Some of these mistakes are relatively minor and only make our communication slightly less effective than it could be, while other mistakes are relatively major and lead to serious misunderstandings. Fortunately, there are some principles, known as Grice Maxims of conversation, that you can use, which will help you avoid these mistakes in communication.
There are four main maxims which revolve around the quantity, quality, and relevance of what people say, as well as on the manner in which they say it. While these maxims were originally meant to describe how people intuitively communicate, they can be used to actively guide the way you communicate in various situations. As such, in this video, you will learn about the maxims of conversation and see what you can do in order to implement them in practice, so you can make your conversation or communication as effective as possible. So first maxim is the maxim of quantity, or be informative. So there are two maxims of quantity. First is make your own contribution as informative as is required. Provide all the information which is necessary for the purpose of the current exchange. Don't leave out anything important. Second, do not make your contribution more informative than is required. Leave out any unnecessary details that aren't important to the current exchange. For example, based on the maxims of quantity, if someone asks you, "How do I get from here to the library?" your expected answer should contain enough information for them to understand how to get to the library, but no more information than that. Second maxim is the maxims of quality, or be truthful. There is one super maxim of quality, which is try to make your contribution one that is true. Furthermore, based on this super maxim, there are two more specific maxims of quality. First, do not say what you believe to be false. Avoid stating information that you believe might be wrong, unless there is some compelling reason to do so. If you do choose to include it, then provide a disclaimer that points your doubts regarding this information. Second, do not say for which you lack evidence. Avoid including information that you can back up with supporting evidence. If you do choose to include such information for some reason, provide a disclaimer that points out your doubts. Third is maxim of relation, or be relevant. There is one maxim of relation, which is be relevant. Make sure that all the information you provide is relevant to the current exchange. Omit irrelevant information. In his book, Grice uses the following analogy to describe or illustrate the importance of this maxim. I expect a partner's contribution to be appropriate to the immediate needs at each stage of the transaction. If I am mixing ingredients for a cake, I do not expect to be handed a good book or even an oven cloth. Last maxim is the maxims of manner, or be clear. There are various additional maxims of manner that are based on this super maxim. Grice lists 4 specific ones in his original work. First, avoid obscurity of expression. Avoid language which is difficult to understand, such as because it contains words that the listener doesn't know. Second, avoid ambiguity. Avoid ambiguous language which can be interpreted in multiple ways, and which therefore makes it difficult for your recipient to understand which or what exactly you're trying to say. Third, be brief. Provide information in a concise manner that allows your recipient to focus on the key details. Last is be orderly. Provide information in an order that makes sense and makes it easy for your recipient to process it. Take note, unlike the previous maxims, which have to do primarily with what is said, the maxims of manner have to do with how it is.
So that's the 4 conversational maxims of cooperative principles. So stay tuned for the next presenter.